Your thoughts on pleasantly plump, fat horses versus a slim condition horse that's on a balanced diet. So the fat horse that's on high energy, high sugar kind of feed versus a horse that's on a balanced diet. So I'm like everybody else, fat's my favorite color on a horse. But that's not necessarily the healthiest thing in the world for a horse to be fat. So a fat horse that's on really high energy, high sugar diets, that's really not good for them. There's the saying, and everybody says it, that most horses are overfed and underrode, and that's true. Most of them are. There's really not a reason to feed all kinds of crazy supplements that people feed. I get horses in here, and people have all these supplements they want me to give them, and I say, put them in a little plastic baggie and I'll give it to them every day. But I'm not going to spend all day sorting through different bags of stuff trying to remember what to give each of them. And so they bring these baggies, sandwich baggies, and it looks like 2 handfuls of sand and then a handful of crushed paper or something. And I don't know what all it is, but it's not something hardly any of them need. If your horse has some specific health issues and this and that and the other thing, okay, fine. But you can see behind me, he's 19 and he's fat as a tick, and he eats alfalfa. That's what he eats. He doesn't get any, well, he gets a joint supplement and a gut supplement, but that's a whole different deal. But things like beet pulp and all these other things, most of them don't need that, and it's just a lot of sugar and a lot of energy for a horse that doesn't need that much sugar and that much energy. And then the sugar specifically, horses don't do sugar real well. They really don't. It's hard on their hooves, it's hard on their hair coat, it's hard on their brain. But a slim and conditioned horse that's on a balanced diet, yeah, all they need is fat and protein for a balanced diet. That's all they need. And they need browse because their gut needs something happening all the time. So on a diet like that, whether they're fat, whether they're slim, that has a lot more to do with how much you're riding them and how much you're working them. If they're not getting ridden very much and they're slim, it's probably because you're not feeding them enough. If they're getting rode hard and getting used all the time and they're still fat and hot and frothing at the mouth, you're probably giving them way too much of a whole bunch of stuff they don't need. That goes into the argument of, well, I don't like to feed alfalfa because it makes my horse hot. No, it doesn't make your horse hot. It just makes your horse act like who he is. It is a high protein, high fat diet, and it makes your horse fire on all 8 cylinders. And so if your horse is hot when he's eating alfalfa, you need to train him more. There's no reason to put him on prairie hay where he's starved to death and just doesn't have the energy to be wild. So that's that. The only other thing I'll add on to there with the sugar content, and then alfalfa specifically, I don't know about other feeds, if this works with them. I wouldn't think it would, but like third cutting alfalfa oftentimes does have a lot more sugar content than first or second cutting, and sometimes there is just so much sugar in there that does actually make them hyper and bounce off the walls like they're a kid at a candy store, and it's really prone to cause laminitis and to cause the coffin bone to start to rotate. The way to tell if your alfalfa has a lot of sugar in it is take a chunk of it, put it in a bucket of water and let it soak overnight. In the morning, if that water is turned red, there's a lot of sugar in it. If it's just got a tinge of red, there's about enough sugar in it. So there's a little tip on alfalfa. It's a great feed. I recommend it to everybody. I realize different parts of the world you can't get good, cheap alfalfa like you can in Fallon, Nevada, so you have to do other things, but you don't need to supplement your horse with 700 different kinds of things. They need protein and fat and browse.
So much so to the Patreon crew. You guys are the reason we're able to do this and do the extra things and really do all the YouTube videos too. We wouldn't be able to make it work without you guys. So thank you so much. And any of the rest of you, you can jump on and watch any of these extra kind of things that we do on Patreon and see what's going on there. So check that out if you can.